Of course, Facebook is always being crazy. All right. Hey, you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of My Lazy Journey. If you are new here to My Lazy Journey, all you need to know is that My Lazy Journey is a spin-off of The Lazy Millennial. It is our I forgot. It's our speaking. It's our speaking segment to introduce you to service providers for both your business and your home life. If you want full details, make sure you visit our YouTube channel. But as always, I want to make sure the full attention is on our guest today. So I'm without further ado, I'm going to read her in and I'm going to bring her on up. I already got tongue tied, so we're going to keep it moving. All right. So Miss Nesha, I love her, guys. So y'all gonna love her too. But anyway, Nesha created Courage Hackers to remove obstacles preventing ambitious moms from reaching their personal and professional goals. She is a USAF veteran, mom of four, HR professional by trade. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to say that a different way. But anyway, and former founder of WorkNest, the first baby-friendly co-working space in South Carolina. Somerville, South Carolina, to be exact, y'all. Navigating her ambitions with small children and only her husband for support led her to feeling lost, lonely, and burnt out. Like, I'm pretty sure there are other moms here. I'm pretty sure y'all all felt the same way. I know I felt the same way, and I still feel the same way. But let me finish up. The frustration shaped her mission to empower other moms to live up to their potential by removing guilt and other limitations to their financial and personal success. So without further ado, I'm going to let her do all the talking and bring her on up. So Miss Nisha, hey
Yes.
girl, how you
Oh, I love
doing?
it. I love how
Oh,
you just go with it. Just go. That is so
I
my
got you.
style.
I'm just like,
I
I'm just
love that
letting it
so much.
rain. All
It
right.
happens.
So I read you in a little bit, but please give a better detail of how, like, who you are and how did you get started in your field?
Oh, I love it so much. So the high level who I am, I'm really I always introduce myself to say that I am someone who has I'm a mom of four and I have the audacity to dream as big as my faith and I have the courage to go after it. That looks like a host of things a lot of times, but I'm completely obsessed. Underscore, underline, hyphenated, like all the things obsessed with solving problems for working moms, ambitious moms, because our struggles are real. And that's ultimately what led me into all the things that I do. And I give myself permission, a lot of permission to create it how I see fit. And I love that the lazy part of your business is in that because it's so permission based. And I love it. Love it.
Because we got to be our authentic self. Like, I feel like that is the best way. Because I am
Mhm.
not a business person. I need to do better with some of my stuff, but I like people. So, anywho,
What does
so
that mean though? A business person. What does that mean to say
I
I'm
was
not a
like that.
business person?
Like every time, like when I first started my business, y'all, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this, y'all, because we gotta hear about her. But I was like, for business, it was always like you gotta wear heels, you gotta dress up, like you gotta be presentable. And yes, I am presentable when I have to go out in public, which is not very often. I work at home, and as y'all can tell, I kind of show up as myself anyway. I could do better, but whatever. But I always like imagine like the pinup stuff, and then like even when I first started my business, people were telling me you need to like make sure you have your makeup done, like you need to invest in this, like make sure you do this, that,
Yeah.
and third. And after a while, it's like that's not me, never been
It's just
me.
not
So I
you.
just yeah,
Listen, if Mark Zuckerberg can launch a multi-billion-dollar foundation business, all the things with a hoodie, I
right,
think you're doing just fine.
exactly. So yeah,
I think
right,
you're doing just fine.
exactly. But we're gonna focus on you. So tell us more about your services because what you do sounds amazing. So like if I were looking up for your services, like how exactly does it help me?
Yeah, so it's a funny story that I like to share because I initially launched being an HR professional by trade. For me, freelancing is something that I really anchored myself in. My heart is so happy for that comment too. It's good, I promise. But I transitioned out of the corporate world and anchored myself into HR because it was the easiest thing for me to get into. And in 2020, when I initially launched Courage Hackers, I had it on my heart for the longest to do. I launched it into one-on-one coaching and workshops and speaking and all the things. And just like you just said, that imposter syndrome hits, right? Like it hits. And my imposter syndrome wasn't that things were not working. And it was that things were working and I just didn't feel aligned with it. And I let it all burn down, all of it. And I've done this before. So I spent a lot of time really, building out my confidence on another level. And that's something I really work to do with so many others is confidence. Like being a confident decision maker, being able to navigate yourself, navigate your life in a way that no matter what is going on outside of you, you know that you're going to figure it out. And that looks like one-to-one coaching right now, but I'm launching a cohort here in about 6 weeks. And I'm so excited about that. And that's going to be a small group coaching, but very much bite-sized. I have 4 little people. I have a very busy life. I don't really align myself with things that are course-based and like rich in context or that 6-month program. That's not me. I want you to take what you need, and just move on to the next level or the next person or whatever that is. And that's what that looks like moving forward. But I'm still figuring that out because this is a new launch. Yeah.
Right. I was like, I love that you said that, like how you moving on, like take what you need and move on to the next person, to the next level, wherever you need to be. So I love it. So if someone wants to work with you, what should they do? What should they do prior to working with you? Like, should they prepare anything or should they come as is, or what would you prefer? Like,
yeah,
how
I think a part of anytime you want to, I tell you, I've never aligned myself with coach. It's a term I've never given myself. I like mentor. I always consider myself a mentor for so many reasons, but I have always thought that one of the things that you should really consider about going into the next stage, if it's a financial investment or if it's coaching or mentoring, it's just making sure you got your mind right. Make sure your heart is right. Make sure those are in the right places. I love Ramit Sethi. Do you know who he is? I'll teach you how to get rich. How to be rich.
Oh, yeah.
I love one of the things about working with him is he has a pre-qualification criteria where he won't take someone who has credit card debt in his programs. And it's all about wealth building, but he will not take you if you have credit card debt. And I love that approach when it comes to mentoring. And a lot of the confidence building starts with what you believe to be possible about yourself. I'm not a therapist. I'm not going to, walk back to where you were in your childhood experiences and childhood trauma. And I think in order to really up-level yourself and up-level your mindset and really believe that all the things are possible for you, you have to have some healing in there. And so that's really one of the few criteria that I have with someone I work with is, have you ever been to therapy before? Not coach or mentor. Have you gone through therapy? Because there is a healing process so that you can fall in love with yourself again, so you can believe in yourself again, that's required. And I'm not a therapist and I'm not licensed to do that, nor would I want to do that. I just feel ill-equipped for that. So yeah, that would really be the minimal criteria is, have you gone to therapy before? And beyond that, it's just a few qualifying questions, as far as your commitment level.
Okay. All right. I love it. Okay. I didn't know he did that. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
guess it goes along with the brand. So I like it.
It does.
So,
yeah.
Do you have, I know I didn't ask this, but I meant to ask this at the beginning, but do you have
like
a particular audience that you like to work with?
We're going to keep it going. I love working with, I tell you, I'm just fully aligned with, it's moms. It's always moms. My heart is just 100% always in thinking of her, and that's why I love the type of work I do, because I don't limit myself to just entrepreneurs. I don't limit myself to just professionals. I don't work with a lot of stay-at-home moms, just being quite honest with you, but moms as a whole, like, what are you struggling with? When I launched my brick and mortar business, WorkNest, the solution there was around navigating coming back to work, navigating work with small children. How do you make sense of that? I have partnerships that are launching now to offer that as well in the workforce. Being an HR professional, an HR business partner, one of the things that I've spent way too much time seeing is women, specifically moms, who have talked themselves out of their careers, talked themselves out of income building opportunities, or not negotiated their salaries in a way because they didn't believe in themselves, because they lack confidence, and so much of it is learning to give themselves permission to ask for what they want. When I came into 2022, one of the key things that I said, me and God, we good here, that I'm leaning all the way into this conviction that God has on my heart. And one of those things is that I continuously heard was, you have not because you ask not. And I want to give that to so many other women, so many other moms, that you don't have to, being a mom is hard. Yes, but it doesn't have to be the most difficult thing in your life. Having 4 kids to a lot of people seems like the hardest thing. Being a mom is probably the easiest part of my day. That doesn't mean I don't get overwhelmed. That doesn't mean I know how to segment. I know how to separate. I know how to do that. And I believe in equipping yourself with the tools you need to make sure that you can navigate your outside life without falling apart on the inside. Does that make sense? You know, just to equip these women with the belief that you can reject any energy that makes you think that you're not good enough, that you're not doing enough. I don't participate in the hot mess mom narrative too often because I know I'm a bomb mom to my children. And I'm so unapologetic about it. I don't have mom guilt. I don't struggle with these things because I know who I am as a mom. And there's so much power in that level of confidence. And when you see it in yourself and in your life, you're going to start to see it in your finances. You're going to see it in your business. You're going to see it in your marriage or your relationships, how you show up in life, you know, and that's ultimately what I'm always driven by. Working moms who want ambitious moms. You don't have to be working, but ambitious moms who want more for themselves and they want someone to create space and hold space for them to dream that large for themselves, despite the fact that there's no proof that it is even sensible for them, you know? And that's why it's my jam. I just get excited about that group for sure.
I can tell. I was like, we can see the passion like in your voice and like you explaining it. So I really love that. So
yeah.
My little question, like kind of off the record. So like a mom is watching this right now, but she is struggling. She's not quite ready to reach out yet. What can she implement right now just to kind of give her just the boost, just to honestly make it through the day? Because a lot of people are just struggling.
Just struggling. It's real. And listen, that's not without, you just heard me right before we got on this live. We were just talking about the fact that this is a witching hour in my household. 7:00 is one of those things that it's just like, oh, I can't, like my husband gave me a whole look, a whole side eye. Like you're taking a 7:30 call with this, you know what time 7:00 is. And the thing that I think more than anything else is that you have to create some really strong boundaries. You have to have boundaries that limit the people who have access to you and give yourself permission to say that I can't do this with you, or I can't say yes to this, or I'm not going to say no, like whatever that is for you so that you can make it through your day, protecting your energy and protecting yourself at the end of it. I can confidently say that I don't struggle with a number of things these days because I don't just give anybody access to me anymore. There are certain days of the week that I take coaching calls. There are certain days of the week that I take networking calls. There are certain hours of the day I spend my time with other people, and I have hours of the day I spend that time with myself and me alone. You know, even if it's 5 minutes, I'm not one of those people who taking a bath isn't going to make me feel better. You know what I mean? Like getting my nails done isn't going to make me feel better because I'm going to have these kids banging at this door like they already are right now, banging at this door, waiting on mommy to come. Why are you not in the house? Why are you not tending to us? So it's already like making me anxious thinking about it. So you have to like plan for the fact that you are going to fall apart at some point in your day or your week. How do you reinforce that? How do you protect that? Find your boundaries. That's what I would tell you. If you're struggling right now and you're not looking to invest in a coaching program, you're not looking for a mentor, maybe you have nobody around you who can really understand what you're going through. Like that's the power of what I call self-leadership, is that you know how to coach yourself through these situations because you know your boundaries. You know how much you can tolerate. And then you got to put something in place, some criteria that people have to meet to get access to you during that time, you know?
Man, that was excellent advice. I would keep going, but like if anyone wants any more details, of course, hit her up. But next thing I want to ask, so you pretty much already answered the question I was about to ask. Like, how do you implement, like, what is your favorite method to kind of like unwind or implement laziness or healthy habits or boundaries?
Oh, that's like 3 different questions. And I think so. The boundaries for me, the big one is that I'm incredibly introverted, and I get drained by catching people up when I need support. Like when I need support and I need help, if I have to catch you up because you aren't close enough to me, then I'm probably not going to ask for help. And so I'm like, okay, I have had my fair share of falling apart because I didn't give people enough access to me to know what was going on. So I had to implement different things to, recharge this introverted battery of mine. One of those things is I ordered some noise canceling headphones. And I literally go in a bathroom in our house. I turn off because I realized too about being a mom. I'm not on the spectrum or anything like this, but I realized how I also experience sensory overload. You know,
Yeah.
like, I don't know if we acknowledge that enough, that you can be overly stimulated too as a mom or as a parent, that you just have too much in front of you and too much noise. So I order some noise canceling headphones. I hide in the bathroom. I give myself 5 minutes. I do breath work, and I talk myself off that ledge of whatever it is before I get there, because I know it's coming, you know, and I give I used to actually use the language to my children. Mommy needs a break right now, guys. You're okay. You know, like, and I'll just step away. I think that's key there. That's my greatest boundary. Those noise canceling headphones and sitting in absolute darkness, that's huge for me, because I can do that anywhere. I think the other part of it that I love is lazy. I love that. It's not a word I use for myself, but I love that you use it, you know, and for me, lazy looks like permission. It's just permission to say, this is what I need and this is how I need it. And that's really the boundary I started to create for myself in different relationships, you know, that I give myself permission to create certain hours of the days where I don't interact with people, or I lean into different conversations, or I say, this is my tough day, or this is my strategic day, you know, and I take a lot of time off, you know, of really just, I'm a thinker and I'm a processor, and I can go on the side of overthinking if I'm triggered or if I'm stimulated, you know? And so I have to give myself permission to let this brain of mine just like run its course without trying to control it or, you know, assign some type of emotion to it. You know, so that's something that I think is a part of my lazy business, is that I am creating different income streams that allow me to not have to always be client facing too. That's a part of it. You know, there's something to be said about making money without having to be in somebody's face or on someone else's, you know what I mean? Like, criteria. And then habits. I think the habits part, I think the one thing I don't think people do enough, women do enough, is we don't talk about one of the most toxic relationships a lot of us have in our lives. And that's the one you have with yourself. You know, your relationship with yourself. How do you talk to yourself when you don't meet a goal, when you don't meet a deadline? I'm a high achieving woman. I'm around a lot of high achieving women who are incredibly toxic, incredibly mean to themselves, you know, when things fall apart or they don't go as planned. And if your thoughts were an outside person talking to you that way, you know, you wouldn't tolerate it, right? And I think that's something that you have to really explore. I've practiced what I consider self-compassionate goal setting. And it's just very mindful. It's just being very mindful of how I can still reach these targets that I have without, you know, beating myself up or being so harmful if I don't achieve the outcome that I desire, or if I reach that outcome and again, completely misaligned with the outcome itself because I'm so hard on myself, or I don't give myself credit, or I didn't just stop and enjoy the journey. And that's a part of it. Self-compassion and goal setting is something that I really believe in these days.
I love it. Okay. Man, you gave a lot of helpful tips. So I appreciate it. So next thing I want to ask, where can we find you and what can we expect from you next?
Yeah, so I am doing a lot of speaking moving forward. I love speaking. I'm so excited for things to become normal in person, as well as virtual again. But I have a number of challenges and workshops that I do. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of bite-sized content, actionable inspiration. I live on LinkedIn. I know that's not everyone's jam, but it is my absolute favorite place to be and to network. And I love creating conversations there. So I'm just at Nesha V Frazier there. But if you're looking for, you know, if you're struggling with those types of things, you're struggling with that negative, you know, self-talk, and you're struggling with the idea of even, you know, creating sustainable systems and sustainable habits that meet your energy, your lifestyle, and your personality, you know, like maybe you have something that works for the moment and then you just completely give up. Maybe it's just not a fit for you and you just don't realize that yet. You know, that's kind of my jam. That's what I do really, really well. And I love doing it for moms more than anyone else, but I've done it for non-mothers as well. But LinkedIn is definitely the place I live. And at Courage Hackers on Instagram. If you just want to see some bite-sized content there, that's where you can find me. I'm still building that one.
Okay. Let me make sure I got your LinkedIn attached to this video too, because I don't think I had that on there. But anywho, first, again, thank you for coming on with us. Long day. Thank you
You are
for coming
so
on.
funny. You're so funny. Gosh, you're so funny. You're like a whole meme every time. Listen, that goes back to what I just said about like you keep it moving, but you just keep it moving, right? You don't have to assign anything to it. We
If
make
I
the
dwell
face.
on it, it's just gonna make things super awkward. So like I made a mistake, we would keep moving. But thank you for joining me tonight. I was like, I do too much team stuff. I thank you for joining me tonight for my lazy journey.
Oh my
And you
God.
guys make sure attach. Make sure to follow. I'm mixing up all my words. Make sure to follow her. Keep in touch with her. And of course, this will be like broadcasted everywhere. So follow her on social media. Keep an eye on our website. And thank you guys for tuning in. And I will be back again next week for another episode of My Lazy Journey. Bye, y'all.